welcome back to the Off-Grid family. Today I'm working on a new brooder for my chicken, or my chick. We were hoping to have a few more hatch, but we were surprised we got even one, but we were hoping for more. The brooder I've made was really quick. It's opaque, so there's not much light getting to the chick, etc. I made a big lid for the stick insects we had. Now those stick insects have bred, we've sold the eggs, and we decided we're not going to have any more this year. So we didn't keep any of the eggs to ourselves, and we've only got one left, and he lives in a little tank over there. So we didn't need the big tank for any of the stick insects anymore. So what I've decided to do is repurpose that into a brooder for the chick. Now it's a lot bigger. It's obviously see-through so that it will get more light and be able to interact with us. And it just means that it should be a little bit happier. You know, it's not unhappy now. We often talk to it and sit with it and so on. But this is my workshop, and I'm going to put it upstairs in my bedroom where I'm sitting constantly editing, so it'll be able to see me and so on. But a while back I made a lid for the tank, which was for the stick insects, so they could hang to it. And it basically was just a wooden frame with some bits of wood on the top, and then some like nylon stockings, so that the actual stick insect could hang, because they do that and then they shed their skin and everything. I've taken the nylon off and I've cut a square about a foot long by, you know, 3/4 of a foot, and that's where then the heat lamp will go in. But I'll take you to see it, and I'll show you what I'm using to stop the chicks skidding around and so on, and hopefully this one will be a little bit more appropriate for our little chick, especially because we've got another 6 hopefully fertile eggs in the incubator at the moment, so it'll be nice to have a bigger enclosure for them. Here's the tank, and it's a lot better sized, and obviously light's pouring in, so it'll be a lot better for the chick. And then this is the lid that I made in a previous video, and I'll put a little doer up there to see how I did it. Very straightforward. All I've done is I've cut a little bit off like that so that we can get the heat lamp in there, and I've also drilled a little hole here so I can put the thermometer probe through there, and it just means that furthest away from the heat source I can measure the temperature, because there's specific temperatures that you should keep the chicks for at different times during their growing. I'll put a little chart up here now. Now, to hold the heat lamp here, I couldn't decide what to do. And then I realised I made a portable lighting rig so that I could actually move the some light around before I'd made my permanent one, which is up in my workshop now. Okay, it's this thing, and this did move up and down, which it still can do. I've got a screw in there at the moment, and it had a little hinge portion here which the light was on, and I could change the direction of the light. It was just LEDs I've strung together. I'll put a little making doohickey up here. If I made a video of it, I think I did, but I can't 100% remember. But all I've done is I've taken off the other like shoulder joint, and I've put some screws in. What I'm going to do, I'm going to attach it to the bench like that. I'm going to slide the pole down through there, and then I'm going to zip tie it on. And again, it means I can unscrew this screw and change the height of it as I want to. The further away it's going to be, the cooler it will be in there, obviously. Now I need to get some matting in here, and if I don't, there's all sorts of nasties that can happen to the chickens. Splayed legs, splayed feet, all sorts. It means basically they can't stand properly, and their fingers splay out like that, or their feet literally spread apart. There are ways to correct it, but you might as well avoid it rather than doing it. And what I like to use is non-slip mat. You can buy it from pound stores, dollar stores, you can get it online. Don't look for brooder non-slip, just look for non-slip mat, and you'll get rolls of it for pennies. But the second you put the word brooder in front of it, you'll end up paying £3 or £4 a roll. So it's exactly the same stuff. So this is the stuff here, and you get it, it's a couple of meters long, I think. And you know, it's often the exact right size for all of the things I've ever found I need it for. But look at that, almost exactly right. So all I need to do is now cut this to size. Roughly, you know, if you've got a couple of centimetres or a few inches out, it doesn't really matter, as long as they're just not always standing on the glass or a slippery surface. Okay, so that's the non-slip section done. Now I need to go and find a cardboard box of some description to make a little house for it. Okay, I found this old 12-volt kettle box. Don't buy these, they're absolutely poo. Don't work at all. Just quickly, the wire is too thin for it and it gets hotter and hotter. The actual wire gets hotter than the heating element. I ended up using two 12-volt 148 amp hour batteries, almost completely flattened them, and it still hadn't, well, the water was warm but not anywhere near, you know, enough to be able to make a cup of tea or coffee. It was ridiculous. Anyway, this isn't big enough sideways on, but it's big enough this way, and I'm going to put it down in this corner, and I'm just going to cut the front off. Now I'll go something like that. There's multiple things you can use for, you know, for their bedding. You can use newspaper, kitchen roll, various different things like that. I found these baby nappy liner things, and I've checked all about them and so on, and they're absolutely ideal for the chicken. They're completely dry. Okay, these are them. Now, as I say, right, I am not an expert. I have looked into using these and there is nothing saying you can't, and I raised a set of chicks before using these. I've never had a problem, but that doesn't mean there's nothing, you know, that it isn't going to cause a problem. Do your research first. I actually bought a load of these. They had like brand new packets of them at a charity shop, and I went there and I just like, I think they were 10p a packet, and I thought, well, there must be some use for them. Highly absorbent things are always quite a good thing to have on hand. Number one, if you've got children. Number two, if you do all these sorts of projects that I always do, you know. Right. I might actually put it up that way, because it will stop the chick bringing, well, the chick will still bring it all out, but it will just might help keep some of it in there. There you go, and what I've done is I've just packed it like that. I'm going to now put some at the back just to keep it a bit insulated. Like that. And it's a nice warm place for the chick to sort of rest and so on. Next thing I need to do is I need to go and get the water bottle, and we have a little dish for the food. Okay, this is the water bottle I've made here. And it relies on surface tension, so all the water drips out until it gets to a certain depth, and then it will stop. And then the second you take water out of it, it will refill itself. If you guys are interested in how I made it, I'll do a video for that eventually when I get round to it. Now the water bottle I'm putting in this corner so it's furthest away from the heat. Next one, the food. Now because we've only got one chick at the moment, we're using these, which are off Pringle packets. We actually keep these for going on tins. If you haven't used all your beans or whatever, they clip onto a tin of beans and it just keeps them fresh for longer. But they're ideal for a little chick's food as well. Now, I've put that away from the water due to the fact if it's anywhere near the water, they end up just absolutely filling their water up with it, and you have to clean it more often. Now, the next thing I want to do is get the chick. There's a good girl. There's a good girl. In you go, my darling. There we go. That's your new house. It's alright, darling. Right, we bought her a little toy, and all I've done is stapled a zip tie to the roof, and now I'm going to just zip tie it on, and if I need to I can make the zip tie looser or tighter. Go. Now the next thing is to set up the heat. So I've just roughly positioned the actual, the original lighting rig. I'm going to place it along here, and then with the actual heat lamp that I've set up, I'm going to try and see how successful I am. At putting it through here. Okay, so I'm going to have to bend this up a bit, I think, unless I come in from another angle. No, it's not as low as I'd want it, so I'm going to have to do a little bit of tinkering on this. Okay, I sawed a few bits off the end of the actual bit that folds down, and now it's in as low as I want it. All I need to do now is secure the actual base of that to the bench and secure the actual heat lamp to the actual tripod thing. Okay, so it's all secured to the desk now. Not as secure as I'd like it, but once I should screw that one in as well, but it just allows us to be able to move the heat lamp out of the way if we need to. So next, put the heat lamp in. Now, as you'll see, I made an improvement to the heat lamp over here, and all I did was I got a piece of bendy wire from an old lighting rig, and I've put it so that it holds the wires away from the heat pad and everything. That way none of them overheat. They haven't at all anyway. They weren't even getting hot, but it was just a security feature I wanted. Well, a safety feature, not security. Right. Just going to zip tie the whole thing together now so that the pole can't slide out of there. Making sure I've got it far enough back. Oh, there you go. The last thing I've got to do before turning it on is put the temperature probe in. And because I'm so clever, I've put the hole so it actually lines up directly with the actual glass, so it won't go down through the hole, so I'm going to actually have to just poke it under the roof or something. What an idiot. Okay, let's try that again. There we go. Now that's right around, that lands right around where the water is, so it'll be able to tell me how much hotter or colder it is. And the thing is, because it's in the sunlight at the moment, it will be heating itself up anyway.